Ladies and gentlemen, today feels like a 2-video kind of day. We already have 1 video up going over everything that is coming out within Season 1. If you guys didn't see that already, it'll be linked down in the description. But as far as this video goes, it is mainly, predominantly going to be focused on some DMZ gameplay. Now, right now, there is a live streamed event going on by Call of Duty that a bunch of creators got to go out to and play Warzone 2 and DMZ a little bit early. So unfortunately, I can't show you their exact gameplay. However, what I'm going to do is explain what DMZ is to you guys, show you some gameplay clips, show you some images, and break down exactly what DMZ is and what the gameplay is going to look like. So yes, there'll be gameplay in this video. There just won't be a full game of DMZ, if that makes sense. We're also going to talk about a couple new things with Warzone 2 later on in the video. But essentially, the main predominant focus of this video is going to be what is DMZ gameplay looking like. Now, before we dive into that, I first have to tell you about today's video sponsor. A lot of you may not know this, but I am actually officially a Lord. That's what this certificate says. And that is thanks to today's sponsor, Established Title. Now, if you don't know what Established Titles is essentially they're a fun and novel way to help preserve the natural woodlands of Scotland and help global reforestation effort. You see, way back in the day, it was a Scottish custom that anyone who owned land was considered a laird, or lord and lady in English. And what Established Titles does is if you go to their website and buy one of the packs, it can give you a 1 square foot plot of land in Edelston, Scotland, therefore making you a lord or a lady, and it comes with that certificate that I showed you earlier. Now on that certificate, it shows you a unique plot number, which is the location of your land. And for the first 200 people that use my link down below and purchase a plot of land, you'll essentially be right next to me, making us neighbors. We can have our own Inkslasher kingdom. Now, when you do this, you can then change your name on things like plane tickets, credit cards, things along those lines. Personally, my girlfriend still won't call me that, but hey, I'm still trying. And to make things even better, when you buy a plot of land with Established Titles, they plant 1 tree and trees for the future to help support future global reforestation efforts. So if you would like to become a lord or a lady, click that first link down in the description, go to Established Titles, and if you use coupon code Inkslasher at checkout, they're doing a Black Friday sale, so that's going to allow you to save 10% on your order. They work great for yourself, for a friend, or as a last-minute gift idea if you don't know what to get someone. So click that link down below, become a lord or a lady, and thank you Established Titles for sponsoring the video. All right, so before we hop into gameplay, you have to understand what goes on in the pre-game lobby. So this here is from Swag's gameplay, and it's just a screenshot I took. And as far as this goes, there's a bunch of things that we got to take in here. First of all, when you go into the game, you get to bring in stuff that you have already looted in game. So as you can see here, Swag's got the Castov and the Bryson. The Bryson's considered contraband. At this point, I do not know what that means. We'll have to figure that out once the game is actually out in everyone's hands. He also has a stun grenade, a Semtex, and deployable cover. His other options are an armor carrier, gas mask, kill streak, and then his small backpack, which you can bring keys into the game, which you can use to unlock strongholds, rooms, and loot further things. Now, from everything that I understand is if he goes into the game with the Castov and dies with it, he does not get to keep that weapon. To get these weapons, you can do 2 things. You can loot them in game and extract with them, or you can buy them with cash. As we're going to see, there's certain in-game items that have a cash value associated with them, and when you loot those and extract with them, you get to keep that money. Money can buy you things, make you stronger, bring it into game, so on and so forth. Very similar to Escape from Tarkov. The other thing that you're going to notice on the screen here is the contracts. So the contracts that are on screen here, there's 3 different types of them. Make contact, locate and scavenge, and then Alcatala informant. Assumably, you can pick your missions before you go into the game. Now, when you complete these missions, I don't know what you get. I don't know if it's XP. I don't know if it's cash. I don't know what it is at this point because I haven't really seen anyone do it. What I do know is when you complete challenges, you get more challenges. So essentially your goal in DMZ is to complete all of the challenges. And then assumably, since it's narrative driven, you get more and more of the narrative and of course better loot in the game as well. The one other thing that you need to know is there's something called an insured weapon. And if you die with an insured weapon, you get to keep it. Now, I don't know how you insure it. I don't know if you have to extract with it, or I don't know if you can insure it with money before going in. I don't know how that works yet, but I have seen insured weapons be a thing. That's essentially all I know with it as of right now. So that is before you get into a game. So then once you've set all of that up, then you have to ready up with your squad. That is the thing that you are seeing here, again with the contracts on screen. Once you are in game, you then kind of have this infill sequence, which is really cool. You kind of look in through a drone and then you spawn into the game, and AI essentially is everywhere. At this point, you just go about your day, you complete your contracts, you kill enemies, and then the looting happens. So looting happens in two ways. You can pick it up off of dead bodies, or you can pick it up from loot caches. The first one that you're seeing here is from Courage JD's gameplay. And as far as this goes, he is picking up loot off of a downed player. He picks up some armor and a picture. Now let's have a look next at inventory. So this is kind of a look at how the inventory system works. You have your loadout and then you have your backpack, which apparently only has 6 slots. At this point, I don't know if you can loot bigger backpacks and bring them out and then have more gear on you. I don't know how that works at this point. But there was a picture that Courage picked up, and it has a $2,500 price tag associated with it. He picked it up off of dead body. Apparently, these are things that are just scattered around the map you can find and are worth money. If he then extracts with the picture, he gets that money. The other thing you'll notice is on his weapons, there are certain sections of the weapon that are highlighted. These are sections that have attachments on. So when he leaves with these weapons, he gets those attachments that come with it. He also has 3 pieces of armor, some grenades, things like that. Same goes with extraction on those. The other thing that you'll see is on the left-hand side of the screen, they kind of have an objective. It says secure nuclear material, acquire Geiger counters from the cache. So essentially, he has to find a cache, get a Geiger counter from it, and if he does so, he gets $3,500. Now, I don't know whether that money from completing that challenge is automatically given to you, or if you have to get extraction first. From what I hear, basically everything revolves around extracting from the game, things along those lines. So essentially what you're seeing here is them completing that next mission. So they go and get out of the vehicle. There is a little toolbox sitting on the desk, and upon getting the Geiger counter, the challenge is not complete, but they go in and loot it. You can kind of see how the looting works from the cache, and then it gives them another objective. Enter the marked area 2 remaining. He opens his map and you can see the 2 marked areas on the map. You then have to go there. So as you can see on screen here, they go to the marked area, and their next thing is to find the radioactive material in this area. They then have to use their Geiger counter to find that radioactive material. So as you can see here, the Geiger counter is pulled up. If you've played Spec Ops, you have seen this happen before, and the higher your number gets, the closer you are to the radioactive material. As you can see here, he gets to an area where the Geiger counter is going off and they can't seemingly loot the radioactive material. I don't know if that's a bug or what is going on with that. Now, eventually one of his teammates manages to get to the other piece of radioactive equipment that was in the other zone. But at this point, he has a look at the mini-map, and you can see various locations throughout the map where different challenges and different things are being completed by other teams. Now, in game here, this is something I found interesting. You can pull up the squad missions and you can see what all of the missions for your teammates actually are, what have been completed, things like that. As you can see, it appears as though, as far as how to play this game, the missions are key. You just go complete missions, you try to extract, so on and so forth. Now, a couple other things you may want to know is there are buy zones in the game, and when you go to them, this is some of the things you can see. You got UAVs, you can buy an LTV with a turret on it, which you can drive around and shoot enemies with. You can buy stronghold keys, which of course you can then extract with or use them to unlock a stronghold. You can buy armor plates, gas masks, things along those lines, or you can buy a bigger backpack. So that answers the question that we saw before. There is a way to get a bigger backpack. The other thing is, you may be wondering about, is what happens when you kill an enemy? I'm talking about other player controlled players. You can then loot their bodies, and this is kind of what that looks like. So you got to go into their backpack and in their inventory and choose what you want, what you don't. I'm very curious to see how this works on controller. It makes a lot more sense on mouse and keyboard, but we'll have to wait and see. And of course, you don't want to be caught with your pants down, so hopefully you can do it quickly. Now, once the extraction is called in, you have a set amount of time to get to the chopper, and if you don't, you just simply die. But once you get in there, you get to loot a gas mask, and then the rest is essentially history. You extract from the map and you survive, and you get to take everything that you have with you. As you can see down in the bottom left, each of them have cash values from what they have looted that they are able to take with them and get to keep. And then you get to see everything that you looted. So Courage here had a bunch of keys and a bunch of things that then turn into cash and XP. And you get different amounts of XP for different things completed in the game. The biggest one, of course, being their missions completed and extracting. You get to keep the keys, you get to keep the weapons, and then you can move on, complete more challenges, more strongholds, things along those lines. So as of right now, without going more in depth with my hands on the game, that seems to be the total gameplay loop within DMZ. You go in, you complete missions, you extract before the zone comes in, and then you get to keep what you have left, or if you die, you lose it. And I'm really looking forward to see how this goes moving forward, how it plays in with the story of the game. As we know, it's narrative driven. I am really excited for that. The one other thing I wanted to say is what we found out about Warzone so far. Loadouts are back. On top of that, it appears as though the player count is 150 for those of you who are wondering. But like I said, mostly DMZ stuff. That is DMZ gameplay. Let me know what you think down in the comments. I can't wait to play it. We're just over a week away from that, and of course on the 16th we will be playing that, getting our hands on it. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, notifications, all of that jazz. Hit that like button if you enjoyed, and of course thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this to us.